Well, we have an interesting video today because we are talking about Tesla and how I was kind of right about a lot of things and how all of the Tesla fanboys are finally going to have to accept reality. But before we get into this video, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So let's first get into some numbers. First off, Tesla's stock price is down by about 70% over the course of the last year. And then on top of that, they right now have a discount of $7,500 off of a Model X or a Model S because they just simply cannot sell them. And there is also dwindling demand for the Model Y. Now the Model 3 is still selling pretty dang well on the new side of things, but the used market for Teslas across the board is declining drastically. The wholesale values on Teslas are declining at a rate that is greater than the overall car market because people just don't want Teslas anymore, it seems. And so let's kind of dive into everything that's happening and let's talk about what this means for Tesla moving forward. Now, before we move forward, I do want to mention that we are not going to be discussing the whole Elon Musk Twitter situation in today's video that everyone is talking about, because here's the deal. As distracted as Elon Musk could be with the Twitter situation, that ultimately is not going to completely derail Tesla. You have to remember, Elon Musk is one person and Tesla is a company that employs a lot of people. And so saying that a company is now running into a direction that's not great just because one person is distracting is really insulting to all the people that frankly work for the company. I mean, Elon Musk, for all we care, could be on a yacht in the middle of the Bahamas just enjoying life and his company could still run amazingly well without him. Obviously, you know, he's become like this big like cultural figurehead and all that kind of stuff, but you got to understand, again, he's just one person, so let's move on now. So first off, on the new car side of things, if we look at the Model S and the Model X, it actually makes complete logical sense as to why there is so little demand for both of those vehicles. They're both very expensive luxury vehicles, and right now, luxury vehicles aren't all that hot because we're frankly in a recession. And so people don't want to go and spend a ton of money on a vehicle, especially a vehicle that costs over $100,000. But there are some other issues with both of those cars. First off, yes, they have received significant updates since they were initially released, but they basically look the same as when they were initially released. Now, this obviously means that Tesla can make a little bit more money on the cars because they haven't, changed the styling every single year. But to a consumer that wants to purchase an expensive luxury vehicle, they're going to want something that feels unique and cool and special and stands out. And a Tesla Model S or Model X doesn't really do that anymore. When they first came out, they definitely did that because Teslas were new and exciting. But now you have the Model Y and the Model 3 that are significantly less money that don't look exactly like a Model X or a Model S, but they look close enough because Tesla styling is pretty much the same across the board. That, again, a luxury buyer would rather just buy from another brand because of that. And this is something that I want to emphasize is Teslas ultimately are just luxury cars. Yes, they are electric cars. Yes, they have some cool technology, but on the high-end side of things, buyers that buy that type of vehicle, some of them might care about the technology, but for the most part, they care more about the status and, what the car can actually do. And I get it, Teslas can do a lot of cool things, but not enough in today's market. There are so many cars in that price range that not only look way better than those cars, but frankly, I'm not talking about just acceleration, I'm talking about overall performance, perform better, they're better to drive, like they're just better in so many different aspects. And so Tesla needs to seriously overhaul both of those cars heavily from a stylistic perspective and from a feature perspective to make it so that they're more exciting to the demographic that is going to purchase that type of vehicle. When it comes to the Model 3 and the Model Y, it's actually kind of mixed. So the Model Y is starting to see quite a bit of demand destruction, and this is for a number of reasons. First off, it's an expensive luxury vehicle. Now, obviously, it's not as expensive as a Model S or as a Model X, but it's still a luxury vehicle, and right now, vehicles between the price range of $40,000 and $100,000 are not all that exciting to buyers right now because of how much they cost. You have to remember, the average American household makes about $70,000 per year, and that's before Uncle Sam comes and, takes his part. And so the average American household can't afford a Tesla Model Y when the average Tesla Model Y is like a $70,000 to $80,000 vehicle at this point. And so with people, again, really concerned about the economy, they're not really going to want to go and purchase luxury items. But the other thing that is going against the Tesla Model Y is the fact that there's so much competition for that car. You have the new Ford Mustang Mach-E, you've got the Kia EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Jaguar I-Pace that's been out for quite some time. And I could just keep going on, but there are so many EVs in the EV SUV market at this point that there's a lot of reasons to not buy a Tesla Model Y, because there are a lot of EVs that have similar range to the Tesla Model Y. They drive better than the Tesla Model Y. They don't have Tesla build quality / warranty / overall reliability issues, and they're just better cars overall. And so with the combination of us being in a recession and less people wanting to purchase luxury items, and the Tesla Model Y just not being as cool as it was upon release because there's a lot of competition, it makes sense why it's not selling as well. Now, the Tesla Model 3 is the Tesla that's still selling quite well, and it actually makes sense. It's the most affordable Tesla, so that means that you're gonna have slightly more buyers for the vehicle because of the price point that it can be purchased at. And I think that the styling with the Model 3 actually works quite well, unlike the Model Y. And obviously, you know, styling ultimately isn't going to like fully push people from purchasing a car. But the other thing with the Model 3 is you're basically getting all of the same stuff you get in the Model Y, but again, at a lower price point. Now, yes, you don't get, the SUV practicality, but most people that purchase Teslas don't really care about that. And then on top of that, there's actually not that much competition for the Model 3. Most automakers are making electric trucks and SUVs because that's what most people purchase on the ICE side of things. However, the thing that's weird about electric cars is there's more demand, it seems, for electric cars than there is for trucks and SUVs. Obviously, the truck and SUV stuff is building, but Tesla kind of has a monopoly. I mean, there is the BMW i4 that competes with the Model 3, but, the BMW i4 is not, a true electric car in the sense that the platform and everything was built out for that to be, an electric car from the start. They basically took, a BMW 4 Series and they modified a bunch of things and turned it electric. So the point that I'm trying to make here is there's a lot less competition for the Model 3, and there's a lot more EV buyers that want an electric car rather than an electric SUV, because I think that the benefits of going electric are much greater when you're in a car than an SUV, because you can get much better range in a car. The driving dynamics with going full electric in a car are much better than an SUV. And looks-wise, the electric cars seem to just look slightly better. Now, obviously, there are some cool electric trucks and SUVs like, the Rivian R1T and R1S and, the Hummer EV and all that kind of stuff. But you guys get the point here. The Model 3 is more affordable than any other Tesla. It looks good, and it doesn't really have all that much competition. What does this mean for Tesla in the long term? Well, if you look at the numbers from a bunch of outlets, they all say that Tesla is only going to have an EV market share of about 20% by 2025. Right now, they're at about 70%. Now, EV fans are going to say, well, that doesn't really matter because the EV market's going to be so much bigger in 2025 that even though Tesla will only be 20% of the market, that'll still be a ton of cars because way more people will be purchasing EVs. Now, if you'd said this to me about a year ago or 2 years ago, I would have definitely agreed with you because that's what it looked like we were veering towards. But after, the last year or so, it looks like we're starting to veer away from EVs. Now, yes, a lot of automakers are starting to release more and more EVs, and they all have these, ambitious goals. But at the same time, we're starting to see a lot of automakers pull back a little bit. Chevy, for example, said, yep, we're all in on EVs and we're going to have all of our cars full electric by 2035. And now they've pretty much pulled back from that. And they're saying that, yeah, we're going to make more electric vehicles, but we're still going to sell gas-powered vehicles. And a lot of other automakers are following suit. Toyota, for example, has said that they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Like, yeah, they'll build some EVs here and there, but they're not going to just jump right in. They're just going to keep building the cars that they currently build. And then when you look at buyers, well, it looks like we're starting to see the beginning of EV demand start to diminish quite a bit. We've had an especially bad winter here in the US, and this has caused a lot of issues with the charging infrastructure and then also just with EVs in general. People are realizing that, oh shoot, this electric vehicle only gets like half as much range because of this cold, and now I can't get to work, I can't get to family events, whatever it may be. I probably should have kept my internal combustion engine car that could reliably get me to places, and I wouldn't have to deal with, again, the crappy charging infrastructure or, power outages. Like, there's all sorts of things that are happening right now because of this winter. They're negatively impacting EVs. Now, in the long term, there's probably going to be more adoption with EVs, but in the short term at least, there's been a lot of pullback. And this is more anecdotal, but with a lot of the dealers that I film for, what they have told me is that there is less and less interest in EVs now over the last few months than what they experienced in the last couple of years. What they're now seeing is more people are interested in just, fuel efficient ICE cars, and then fuel efficient hybrids, and then plug-in hybrids as well. It seems like the demand for that is just absolutely ramping up. And this is exactly what I have said over the last few months is, there's going to be a subset of people that will absolutely love EVs and dive right into it. But for the general public, hybrids and plug-in hybrids are the future. That's what makes more sense. That is way more reliable with the current infrastructure that we have, and frankly with the infrastructure that we will have in the next few years and even in the next decade. So in summary, Tesla is not in a good place right now, and it could potentially get a lot worse unless they properly navigate the situation. So with their flagship models, they need to seriously overhaul them and make them more exciting to the demographic that purchases them, because there's a lot of really cool luxury cars that you can purchase right now, and the Tesla Model S and the Model X, they're just looking a little tired at this point. Now, for their more affordable vehicles, what they need to do is, well, frankly, make them slightly more affordable so that people can actually afford them in a recession. Otherwise, again, they're just going to be looked at as other luxury cars are looked at during a recession. And again, that is not a necessity. People only want to purchase necessities right now. And so if Tesla doesn't want to lose more market share and lose sales, they've got to do that. And the thing that would be a saving grace for Tesla at this point is for them to finally actually release, the quote unquote Tesla Model 2, an affordable car that is in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, so that the average Joe can actually purchase a Tesla instead of people that work at high-paying tech jobs or happen to run a business, because it seems like those are the only people that can actually afford the Teslas with how much they cost. If Tesla doesn't do that, then they're just going to continue to lose market share, because other automakers are starting to build more and more affordable EVs. And not only are they going to lose market share, but they're also going to lose sales, because again, we're in a recession. I know I've said that like 5 times in this video, but like that needs to be emphasized. Like, people look at Tesla as not a luxury company, but that's ultimately what they are. And so with my, crystal ball, what I see happening over the next couple of years is Tesla's not going to release the cars that they say they're going to release, because that's what always happens with Tesla, right? They always promise up here and then they, deliver somewhere down here. And so with the loss of market share and with sales, they're just basically going to be cemented as just another one of America's automakers. I don't see that Tesla's going to go away, because they're still a very profitable company. But what I see happening is that people are going to finally come down to earth and realize that Tesla's not going to take over the world. They're just going to be another General Motors, Stellantis, Ford. That's what they're going to be. They're just going to be another American automaker that's going to sell, a few million vehicles per year, and that's pretty much it. Again, if they somehow get that super affordable EV out, that might change things, but with the timelines that Tesla is working on, by the time they get their super affordable EV out, everyone else will also have their super affordable EV. And so Tesla won't sell, 20 million units a year is what a lot of Tesla fanboys seem to think. Instead, again, they'll sell a few million units a year, and everyone else will also sell a few million units per year. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this whole Tesla situation, what you think is going to happen to Tesla. Like, do you think that this is the end for Tesla? Do you think that, they're going to somehow pull out of this because of the tax credits that we're seeing next year on electric vehicles? I'd be interested to hear. Anyways,